Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. I want to talk about the books I've read so far. Starting with the books that I DNF'd. There's only two that I DNF'd. One is a 3-star. I've got quite a bit of 4-star, and then I've got 3 5-star books, and then I'll talk about the books that I'm currently reading. So, starting with the DNFs, Mind Games. This is a me thing. This is not anything to reflect on the book itself. I don't think I was ready for a book like this. I think I'm just more like, I'm such a mood reader. I think I'm really just, I've been in the mood for like a romance. This is suspenseful, and I kept finding myself like trying to think who's going to get together, and I'm like, wait a minute. This isn't that kind of a book. So then I realized I'm just not ready for this book. Usually I read this kind of stuff in the fall. So I think I will revisit this come September, October. The next book I DNF'd. This was on my Kindle. I borrowed it from the library. Where is it? It is, whoops. Oh, where did it go? The Let Them Theory. Stop it. The Let Them... You get the idea. If I finished the book, it would probably be 2.5, 3 stars. I get the concept. I like the idea behind it. But it's really no different than setting your own boundaries. I've just been curious about the book because there's so much hype around it. But I just don't like the examples that she uses for let them. She used an example of like, the dog is barking, the neighbor's dog is barking. Let them. Let them? I'm sorry. If it's keeping me up at night, no. I'm not gonna let them. I'm not gonna let them let their dog bark all night. No. There's problems. There was another one. Oh yeah. If my kids don't clean up their dishes, let them pile it up. No. How about you discipline your kids? So they were terrible examples. There were some good examples. Friends and family that don't understand the decisions my husband and I make, let them. That's fair. Let them. So, I mean, there's some concepts I was able to glean from this book, but overall, put some words on paper and made a book and made some money out of it. I don't think there's really anything profound in what was in the book. Next, I've got the 1 3-star. Let me get that pulled up here. My Hope Next Door. It was cute. It's a good book. I just felt like the love story was way too rushed. I also felt like the ex-boyfriend kept coming around when he didn't need to. The redemption is beautiful. I wish that I could have seen more redemption. It just seemed to have just ended. And the love story just happened really quickly. Moving on to my 4 stars. I have a lot. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 8 4-stars. So let's get started. So I don't know if you've heard of Oshina's Francine Rivers book club, but this was the first one. This was January's read, Bridge to Haven. This was super deep. I flew through this. I loved it. Now understanding what this book is really based on, I have a better understanding. The reason I have this as a 4-star, if you have read this, if you know, you know. Certain relationships that are awkward. Her story is incredible. There was so much healing and redemption in this story. Full circle moments, beautiful ending. Next book I read was For a Lifetime by Gabrielle Meyer. I loved the book. I loved the twin aspect of it. I'm not going to say too much because I don't want to give any spoilers. However, I didn't feel like it was very twisty. I like a good twist. Next book was February's read for the Francine Rivers, The Lady's Mine. I loved this book so much. I marked this as a 4-star because it's got a very strong female role in the book. She just seemed to take control and take over. The next book was March for the Francine Rivers book club. This was The Atonement Child. Oh boy, this one was pretty triggering for me. This was almost a 5-star book for me. Let's talk about the triggers, because this might be triggering for you as well. This is on the topic of abortion. Nearly everybody in this book has had something to do with abortion. This girl she's doing everything that she's told. She's a Christian. She grew up in a Christian home. She went to a Christian college. This is not a spoiler. This is the whole premise of the book. On her way home from work, and she's raped. Like a random stranger. She found out she's pregnant. This was an opportunity for the church to really come alongside her and support her. But instead, they criticized her. And she had so much conviction. I do recommend it. However, because if you've gone through church abuse, if you've gone through the literal rape abuse, sexual abuse, abortion, if you have done that, there is redemption, there is grace. But if you've been involved in any of those, tread carefully. So I did mark it as a 4-star because the very, very end, it just rubbed me the wrong way. That's my personal opinion. I did not care for that part. So then moving on, Every Hour Until Then, also by Gabrielle Meyer. I loved the fact that she was 50 years apart from her 2 timelines. There were a lot of things I loved about this. I loved the Jack the Ripper storyline. Oh my gosh, I loved the love interest. What is his name again? Isn't it Austin? Yeah, Austin. I marked this on Goodreads as 4-star. It's really more like 4.5. And it's really the same reason why I marked The Lady's Mine as a 4-star. It's because a strong female role is expected to have all the answers, expected to lead the way, be the hero, save the day. But she was telling her parents what to do. She was consoling her mother. She was consoling her not like a daughter would her mother, but more like a friend to a friend. It just kind of bothered me. Okay, moving on to the next one. So we've got Through Each Tomorrow as my next 4-star read. Gosh, this one was so twisty. So twisty, especially right at the end. Holy cow. It was just like mind blown. Like there is a full circle. That's all I'm gonna say. Okay, now what brought me to 4.5 stars. The main character is a male. Like we haven't had that yet. But he just, like, the decisions that he made with his friend is like, did you guys really think this through? But also, sometimes I think if time crossing really was a thing, I wonder if that really would be realistic, because sometimes boys don't think things through. So I wonder if that really was realistic. However, he is such a hypocrite. Like, he would get mad at his friend for doing the very thing that he was doing himself. Next, An Echo in the Darkness. Francine Rivers. This was last month. This was May. Because right now we're in June. It's crazy. Okay, now this would also be a 5-star, except for one detail. Now, if you've read the Mark of the Lion series, or if you're following along with Oshina's Francine Rivers book club, you've already read it and you already know. The sister does something pretty horrendous to the brother. This actually is an event that brings him closer to Christ. There's a lot of coming to Jesus moments in this book. I cried. I don't normally cry in books. Lately I haven't. I did cry in this. Now, the forgiveness story is what bothered me. There were there were a couple people who told Marcus that he needs to forgive his sister. I have a problem with that. The message that I was getting on this forgiveness message is that you forgive and it's forgotten. How do you forget something like that? How do you forget? It's like saying, like, in the Atonement Child, a rape victim, to forget. Like, she can forgive her predator, but how can she forget something like that? You can't. You can move on. He has every right to have a firm boundary against his sister. He has every right. I just don't agree with that forgiveness message. That is why it is a 4-star for me. Otherwise, the rest of this story was absolutely beautiful. I could not put this down. Then, this is the last 4-star I've got, Into a Golden Era. This is the last one so far that's been published in the Timeless series. This is a 4-star because I didn't feel like it was twisty enough. I like the love interest. I love the dynamic between the two. Did not like her sister in her other, like in the future. I did not like her sister. I also did not like Spencer at all. I think he's full of it. I am curious about the next book. And I'm curious who that's going to be, because I'm wondering if that has anything to do with a certain character that was in the epilogue. Is that the epilogue? Yeah. Now for the 5-star. I read this in January, The Frozen River by Ariel Lawhon. If I could read a book again for the first time, again, this would be it. I loved this book. It is slow moving. It's a slow burn. I didn't know at the time, but I found out later that this is actually based on a real person. So this got me more intrigued in the story. This is nonfiction, or what is it? This is fiction, because this is based on true events. So, the ending was great. It's just well written. It's a well written book. I cannot recommend it enough. It is really good. They're investigating a body that was found, and they're investigating who done it. So it's kind of like a 18th century crime, and then you find out who did it. Okay, now for my next 5-star. across the ages. Oh my gosh, I loved the action. I loved the pirate. I loved the love interest. I loved the family connection. Gosh, I loved this one. I could not put this down. Actually, this book, when Amanda from Book Lover Amanda read this book, she did a whole vlog on this. This is the one that convinced me to jump on the bandwagon for the Timeless series. I have no regrets. I had to get the book right away. Last book, A Voice in the Wind. This was April's read. So good. So good. And I mean, this girl had so much love and patience and kindness towards this family, especially towards her master, who was not very kind to her. I mean, she treated her like her sister, and she prayed for her. It was very convicting in a good way. And it also made me realize how good we have it today. Like this is hardcore. And like, this is like basically right after Jesus was ascended. I believe it's like 40 years after the timing is like 40 years after he ascended. And there's so much persecution. We don't even know what persecution is. We live such fluffy, comfortable lives. I mean, the end, I was shocked. I was so shocked. Gone through every book that I've read so far. Now we'll go through what I'm reading now, what I'm currently reading. So, Unsinkable by Jenny L. Walsh. If you don't know, Violet Jessup, she was on the Titanic, she was on the Olympic and the Britannic, and she survived all 3 sinkings, so that's why they call her Unsinkable. And it also has another story in here as well, so it goes back and forth between each chapter. So I would say 3/4 of the way through, and I'm still trying to figure out how this other character is involved with Violet. So this other character, her name is Daphne, and she is living in the World War II era. And I'm still trying to like put the pieces together and figure it out. So I think everything's gonna come together in the end. So I just kind of have to trust the process. Next book I'm reading is part of Chrissy's Purple Library book club. So this is A Time to Die. So far, like, I just finished chapter 2. I'm doing a reading vlog on this one, my reactions and what my thoughts are on it. So far, so good. This has me interested. This has me intrigued. Chapter 2, I'm already relating to her. So far, so good. I like it. And that's all I have. So thanks for listening in. Let me know what you have read in this list, what you liked, what you didn't like. Share it in the comments. So thanks for joining, and I'll see you next time. Bye.